Welcome to Think Future. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and once again we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation, startups, the future, not necessarily those and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you'll be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and please drop a note on Apple Podcasts. I greatly appreciate it. So, it's another Startup Monday, folks. And I am going to put a pause on talking about my past business ideas for a moment so I can highlight something that I've seen in the wild recently. And I think to myself, how does this work? How can this possibly be a business idea with legs? Now, I'm not sure where you're listening in from, but in California here, we have a company, I don't know if the company is Californian or not, that has created digital license plates. That's right, folks, digital license plates. And you see them every now and then, because normally the California plate is a white plate with dark letters, and I forget if they're blue or black or whatever. But every now and then you'll see a black plate with white letters. And upon closer inspection, you realize it's actually a digital license plate. It's using e-ink to display the license plate number. And I looked this up a little bit, and I went and I looked for it, and there's not only is there a fee to buy this thing, there's an ongoing subscription fee to maintain this thing. And the only customization you can make is at the line below the license plate number. So the license plate itself needs to remain static because, of course, that's the whole point of a license plate, is to identify the vehicle, right? So that part has to remain static. So here we have I don't know if it's GPS enabled, Bluetooth enabled, Wi-Fi enabled thing that you stick on the back of your car to show static information for years. And I thought to myself, okay, where does this fit on the haircut cupcake scale? And if you guys have been listening to my show for a while, you know about the haircut cupcake scale, right? So the haircut cupcake scale, if I may explain again, is the difference between need and want, right? So I think I mentioned to you before that when I was growing up, my dad used to say, why are you getting into computers? Why don't you get into something like being a barber or being a bricklayer or something that people need? Everyone needs to get their hair cut. So you should become a barber because everybody needs to get their hair cut. So that's an example of a need. And then a want would be something like crumble cookies, right? It's a cupcake or something delicious that you really want, but you don't necessarily need. It's not a food group. It's not something that you would eat. You have to eat or you'll die. And of course, I guess in the end, a haircut isn't something that you have to eat, you have to do or you die. But I mean, I think most people want to get their hair cut because it's a skill, and some people sort of shave their heads. So I'm just using that as a short form for a need. So when I take the haircut cupcake principle and I apply it to a digital license plate, I think to myself, who wants or needs a digital license plate? And think about it this way. The state is not paying for it. You are paying for it. So for some reason, hundreds of people are lining up to buy a digital license plate with all sorts of tracking information on it to help the state figure out where you happen to be and where you are. And I can't imagine why this can either be a want or a need, because the state needs to put a license plate on you. You don't need a license plate. You only need a license plate because the state says you need a license plate. It's not a need for you. The state needs you to have a license plate, but it's getting you to pay for it. So people are willingly putting down money, hundreds of dollars, to buy this thing and then pay a fee monthly to have it on their cars, right? When you can go get a license plate for whatever the cost is and slap it on, and you can have it there for 2 years, whatever, and then they have changed the sticker. So what is the upside of having a digital license plate? What's the need and what's the want of having a digital license plate. There isn't one. So here we have a startup that has built something that no one really needs or wants, yet is still around. So I ask you, do you think that this company will still be around in 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Well, maybe if the state decides to subsidize it, if the state decides that everybody needs a digital license plate instead of a regular license plate, then maybe the state will pay for it. But would a regular human being pay for it? Probably not. Why would I want to pay for something like a digital license plate that I don't really need? I mean, sure, it might have some things like easy to renew your sticker, but how much pain and suffering is that? Do you really need to pay hundreds of dollars a year in order to press a button on your cell phone to purchase a new sticker for your license plate? I don't think so, right? I mean, it boggles the mind that this is the kind of stuff we're working on instead of the really important stuff that applies to people's actual needs. So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you if you believe that there's other startups out there that are doing something that really doesn't fulfill a want or a need, but for some reason are still something that seems to be a viable business, but the question is for how long? And if you happen to be from this company that does the digital license plate, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to have you on my show, and I'd love to talk to you about the justification for putting all this cash and energy into something I believe that people neither want nor need. And if you have any ideas for other companies that seem to fit in this category but seem to still be around, then I'd love to hear from you. So drop a note in the comments below and let me know. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.